Hey, Cookaholic Chef Kendra here, and today we're making creamy chicken pasta with sun-dried tomatoes. It's delicious, so let's you and I do what we do and make it happen. Just gonna shred up some Parmesan cheese. Now I have some chicken, and what I'm gonna do with this chicken is I'm gonna remove the skin, and I'm going to remove the bone. And I'm going to cut it the way I want to for this particular recipe. So I'm basically pulling off most of the skin. Nice sharp knife. Just cutting down like that. And there is a bone here. I know this isn't the prettiest picture, but cooking isn't always pretty, baby. So I'm gonna take my knife. This is how I do it. I'm gonna take my knife and just cut like that, right? And then I'm gonna slice around the bone, trying to get as much meat as possible. And get under the bone and work my knife around it, keeping my fingers out of the way. And then leave the bone here, and we want to preserve as much as we need as possible, so I'm just going to cut around the bone. Keeping my fingers out of the way. Now that I have that done, I'm going to trim off the excess fat and stuff like that. I'm going to cut this into bite-sized pieces.
We'll find out next week, but I do think that, and I believe you mentioned it as a statement as well, that probably the best course of action here at the Avenue.
Okay guys, we're gonna go over the ingredients. We have some paprika, shredded Parmesan cheese, crushed red pepper flakes, kosher salt, oregano. We have some sun-dried tomatoes, and this one is in olive oil. We have garlic, we have milk and heavy whipping cream. We have olive oil. Over here, we have some clean, boneless, skinless, and cut into bite-sized pieces chicken thighs. You can use chicken tenders, you can use chicken breasts, whatever you feel like. Over here, we have some shredded mozzarella cheese. We have penne pasta, dried. I'm going to take them out of this oil, give them a squeeze. Put them over in this bowl. Because we don't want all that. We have our sun-dried tomatoes here. You saw me squeeze out a lot of the oil, and you have them like this. And I'm just going to chop them up a little bit into like strips. That. Because these are awesome, but these pieces are just way too big. Good. I'm going to fill this pot halfway up with water. I'm going to sprinkle some salt in there, and we're going to hit the stove. We got our pot over here on the stove. I'm going to get it over almost high heat, medium high. I'm going to let this come to a boil. And so it'll boil faster, I'm I'm gonna slap the top on. Meanwhile, over here, I'm gonna pull this off. Get this over medium heat. And the first thing I'm gonna do is add 2 tablespoons of quality olive oil. Now I could have just used the olive oil from the jar. I just don't like to do that. But you can. So I'm gonna let this oil heat up for about a minute. Now that our oil is heated up, we're gonna add our sun-dried tomatoes. And we're gonna cook this for a little bit. Another minute or so. So I'm gonna transfer these beautiful sun-dried tomatoes to this bowl for now. A little more oil, and we added our chicken to the pan. Let's cook and stir the chicken for 3 minutes. I'm gonna add the paprika. It's halfway during the cooking process, I added the garlic. Alright guys, at this stage, we're just going to turn the heat off and remove this from the heat for the moment. Now that our pasta water is boiling, we're going to slide in our penne. Remember, we already put salt in here, so I'm just going to give it a little stir up. I'm going to bring it back to a boil and let it go according to package directions. Alright, our pasta has come together, and I am going to drain this pasta. So, as you can see, this pasta is drained. And I want to note that I reserved a little of the pasta water. I'm going to add those beautiful sun-dried tomatoes to our chicken. Mix those in. See how easy this is, guys? Now we're going to add our milk and our heavy whipping cream to this. We're going to add our mozzarella cheese. And I'm going to turn this on back to medium. Now, I'm going to stir this all together, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. Remember that chicken has a little more cooking to do. So we're just going to stir that all together. It's looking good already, guys. We're melting that mozzarella cheese. We're finishing cooking off that chicken. We're bringing all the flavors together. You know how we do. Hey guys, once it's come to a boil, we want to reduce this to low and cook and stir until this stuff is melted. Look at that. Alexa, mute. Now once it gets to this stage, we're going to add half of the Parmesan cheese. Stir that in. Now, if your sauce is too thick, you feel like it's too thick, remember guys, we've reserved a little of that pasta water for just such an occasion. Now we have our cooked pasta in this saucepan. And we're going to add our sauce to it. Now I would do it the other way around, but this pan I'm using to cook the sauce is too small. Here I want to gauge the thickness level. I want to loosen it up a bit. I'm going to add a little of that. That was the pasta water. We just added the basil, red pepper flakes, stir that up. You know, I'm gonna taste it to see if it needs any salt. That's so good. Now it's all mixed in, I'll pour it back in here. Now I'm just gonna top with the rest of the Parmesan cheese. A few more crushed red peppers. Flakes, just a little. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. You can find this and other fine recipes at chefkendra.weebly.com. That's chefkendra.weebly.com. You know I got you. Yo, that's all for this time. I'll see you next time. Chef Kendra is out. Peace.